Hi, everybody. Welcome to another. Uh, I just want to let you know our topic today is purpose and growth in love. And as we've mentioned before, in the United States, about half of the 50% of the married couples get divorced. It's the sixth highest divorce rate in the world, and the number of people who are single is nearly double than what it was 50 years ago. People are not meant to go through life alone, and our romantic relationships are at the center of all of our other connections. So, what we're trying to do is we want to address that and give you the tools that you need to understand your partner or your potential partner better and develop love that grows over time. And this isn't just for uh, couples or people who are in relationships like this. This is for all relationships, whether it's family, friends, whatever, or potential mates in the future. So anyway, it's tools that you can use for all of that. This is a cameras on event. So if you can turn on your cameras, it would be great. We find that it helps us to connect to each other and gives you an opportunity to fully benefit from the event. Some activities that we will be doing require being able to see each other. If you're joining on Facebook or YouTube, welcome. Please tell us your name, where you're from, participate, answer questions in the comments, and we'll try to read them during the show. So anyway, let's kick it off. I'm Gary. I'm going to be one of your hosts today.
I'm Roberta. I'm another host. I'm from Long Island, New York. Hi, everybody.
I'm Linda. Oh, I don't even have my camera on. I'm Linda from upstate New York.
And I'm going to turn it back over to Roberta.
Okay. Thank you, Gary. Okay, so for the past few weeks, we've been talking about love and relationships. We have 3 more events in this series, including today's event. We meet every Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, so make sure to leave this time open for yourself. You can RSVP on Facebook and Meetup. We'll give you all the links at the end of the event. This is a wonderful course that's actually based on the laws of nature, and it's going to teach us how to attain harmony in relationships despite our differences and how to achieve love that lasts and grows over time. So during this event, we're going to discuss how to have a shared purpose in our relationships and how to practice the tools that we learned in order to grow our love despite our differences. So if you think about it, did you know that every obstacle that we encounter between us is actually an opportunity to make our love stronger? It's designed this way, actually by nature. Usually because people lack a shared purpose, they lack the tools to overcome the disagreements or differences that the obstacles tear them apart, actually. However, if used correctly, the situation, we can use the obstacle to build greater love between us, and the situation will then become an experience that will actually have purpose in the first place. The conflict, I should say, will have a purpose if it's used properly. And of course, with anything in life, just knowing the rules isn't enough. It's up to each individual person to apply what we learn here in our everyday lives. And as you know, everything is easier when we do it together. So here at Open Diner, we're here to provide a supportive environment to help each other apply these rules of love in our lives. And it doesn't matter, like Gary said earlier, if you're in a romantic relationship currently, or you're still looking for that special someone, if you start applying these rules in all your relationships, it'll prepare you to being a better partner for that special person when they do come. And it might even draw that right person into your life. So saying that, we're going to play a game, we're going to go to Gary, which could be a game. Announcements.
We have some reminders that we have for everybody, and we can't go on without reminders. Like I said, at Open Diner, we try to create a supportive environment where we connect above any differences, and we find our common denominators, which we're going to do in a minute. We stay on topic, no criticism, no negativity, avoid politics, of course, and a reminder to mute your microphone whenever you're not speaking to minimize the background noise. And if you can, again, turn on your cameras and to let everybody benefit from the event. Please remember to keep your answers brief so that everyone gets a chance to speak. And again, if you're joining on Facebook or YouTube, please participate, answer questions in the comments, and we'll be together during the event with you. And back to Roberta for an icebreaker.
And now we're ready for the icebreaker. I jumped ahead of myself. I was excited. So we're going to do an icebreaker. It's called the common denominator game. And for the common denominator game, the topic is going to be what makes you happy. So one person is going to speak first for a few moments about what makes them happy. The next person takes something that the first person said and uses that to talk about their own happiness. So I'm going to give an example. Let's say Paula happens to say she's very happy when she goes camping with family every 4th of July, let's say, and weekend in the Adirondack Mountains. She's most happiest, relaxed when we have a long stretch of time to read, swim, go fishing, spend quiet time together. So she finishes speaking. Now, let's say Judy says, you know what, that resonates with me. She unmutes herself, Judy would, and would say, continue, that, you know, on the 4th of July weekend, it happens to be that it's like a holiday celebration like Thanksgiving. It's the only time of year that my family gets together from all over the US. They flock to our house for a type of family reunion. So you see how it's going to work. So one person will speak, and from that, we'll take something that makes us happy. We're going to continue this till everybody gets a chance to speak. So if anybody would like to go first and share what makes you happy briefly, that'd be great.
I would like to go first.
Yeah.
What makes me happy is when my wife and I get a pizza, a bottle of wine, and we sit down and watch a movie that we both agree on. That's what makes me happy.
You know, I enjoy, what makes me happy is you were talking about a movie. I like actually going to the opera, and I don't like going alone. I like going with somebody so we can enjoy it together. I love the opera. I love sharing that experience with somebody.
Yeah, that's interesting, Gary, because I don't really like sports, but I do like going to sports games for some reason. And I think it's because, you know, you go with your friends and you're surrounded by people who are enthusiastic about the whole event, and you know, I really get into it. But I can't watch it on TV.
That reminds me, Dan, of going, what makes me happy is that I have great grandchildren who are into basketball and soccer games. And it's not that I like sports either, but this is a heartwarming time to see all these children out there having a blast. And that makes me the happiest.
Yeah, you mentioned your grandchildren, Judy, and family makes me really happy. Next week, I'm going to see my family in Texas, and I'll be spending time with my 2 little nieces. One of them is going to be turning 2, and we're going to be celebrating her birthday. So that makes me very happy being with them.
I could add to that. We had a girls' weekend at my house last weekend. My mom, my sister, my niece, you said niece, so there's a common denominator, and family. And, you know, just hanging out, listening to music, eating, cooking, reminiscing of old times. That really made me happy, made my family happy too. So that was very enjoyable. Time together.
Yes, speaking about cooking and being together, I really I'm looking forward. I think we are going with our friends. We used to go every year camping, and we had the designated cooks, you know, for each meal. And actually the rest of us were fighting who will be helping them. And I never ever ate anything so tasty as those meals that we had together, you know, sitting under the trees and enjoying it, being so happy. I'm so looking forward to it.
I'm also interested in camping. I'm going to Saturday, I think, near the Catskills camping. I haven't been since I was younger, but I'm sure it's going to make me very happy. I'm very excited about it.
It reminds me about our Bard Club. which happens to be sometimes in the also in the camping site in the forest preserve. And my goal this year, so not because I like, so I used to like the people singing and producing, singing their songs they composed, but not all of them that good. Still, I like to be among my friends and under the open sky in the camping setting. It's beautiful.
Anybody else like to add who didn't speak?
Yeah, it reminds, when Natalia was talking about this gathering, it reminds me of used to have gatherings with friends at the beach in Haiti. That was years ago. It was a very nice time. Haitis always have very nice beaches with white sands and coconut trees. It was, very young when you were just fresh out of high school. Those were very happy times.
Well, I go along with, I think it was Judy who said about the children and her grandchildren. I love being with my kids, my boys and my grandchildren. When my boys get together, it's like they're still little kids again. They, the play fighting with each other, calling each other names. I love it.
I think everybody went that's here. And the only one that didn't go, Sulene, if you'd like to add, I know you have your camera off, but if you'd like to add, if you're there.
Well, the only thing that I could add is that I'm happy when I'm in love, when I have someone with me. That's it, really.
Okay, thank you.
Well,
perfect. So what do we take away from all this? Most of us said what makes us happy is being around other people. And that's why it's so important to work on our relationship skills, not just romantic relationships, but all relationships. People are social creatures. So by developing positive relationships with everyone in our lives, it makes us much happier. So thank everybody for sharing. Thank you all for sharing. And we're going to watch a video now and we'll watch it together. And then afterwards, we're going to do a round discussion about it. So we're going to watch the video.
In our previous lessons, we talked a lot about everything that goes into improving our relationship. But in this lesson, I want to talk about a slightly bigger picture than what is happening between us in the privacy of our home. I want to talk about the network and how we're all part of it. The developing study of social networks is a fascinating field of science holding some great implications for our lives. Some years ago, we got a first glimpse into the famous research by Nicholas Christakis and James Fowler about the social networks that connect us all. They shattered the paradigm according to which we're all just separate individuals living our separate lives. Instead, they proposed something radically different, that we all live as part of a social network that influences our perceptions, our feelings, our relationships, our behaviors, our choices, and so much more. Science is now discovering the reality that Kabbalists have spoken about for thousands of years. Even though it seems to us that we're living our lives, going through all kinds of random events and states, while other people around us are living their lives, the truth is that we're all connected in a tight network of thoughts, feelings, and other impulses. So even if it seems to you that your last fight was because of her hormones or his insensitivity, the truth is there are no coincidences. Rather, we're just like a school of fish moving together between waves of love and hate, closeness and separation. And within this turbulent sea, we're constantly trying to maintain our footing and balance our emotions, work out our relations so that we can feel good, feel that we're in control. But many times, simply can't maintain that balance. We find ourselves experiencing conflict. But that is also not a coincidence. It happens within the greater framework of a system we're not aware of. So why am I telling you all of this? Why is it even important that you know about it? The reason is that this perspective can help us accept and react correctly to the situations that we experience. It can really help us to remember that we experience not what's happening randomly or by mistake. It's not my partner's fault, and it's not my fault. It's coming from a system that Kabbalists say exists above us, a network that operates according to a special formula or rule. It's pushing us to evolve so that we can reach the perfect state of balance and mutual interconnectedness. Everything that comes our way, every negative, threatening, or challenging situation has one simple goal: to help us react in a higher, greater connection, to help us achieve a higher quality connection. So how do we react to every situation we receive from the system? How do we create that higher level of connection in our relationship? Let's take an example. Say that you just started talking to your partner about something that's really important to you. You're going through something difficult and you want to share it with them. You need their support. But then, instead of supporting you and empathizing with you, he doesn't even agree there's a problem. He tells you that you shouldn't be feeling the way you're feeling. He sees it completely differently. So you try to explain yourself, but he just doesn't see it the same way. Disappointed by his response, you feel this void opening up within you. Not only that, but anger begins to well up. All you want to do is criticize him, tell him how wrong he is to react that way. And as we know, no one wants to be criticized or blamed. In short, you're moments away from having a big fight. Now, this is the point to remember that this crime that's been revealed, the communication barrier, the emotional distance that became evident, it didn't appear out of nowhere. It came from the network. It revealed another instance of the original shattering of the vessels, a clear gap for us to work on. It's an opportunity to create that love above the difference. This is where we practice those concessions that we discussed in the previous lessons. Instead of increasing the division that we discovered, fighting over our point of view, this is an opportunity to change direction, not to erase the negativity, but to use it in order to add a positive force above it. It's really like a battery. It's got layers. The bottom part is the negative force or separation. Above it, my resistance to flowing with it, and then the positive force appears, the love. This turns you into a kind of battery or source of energy that gives life to everyone who's connected to you. If you're a parent, doing this work will also set an amazing example to your beloved kids. They can feel everything, and we want them to see mom and dad handling negative emotions in a positive way. But wait, there's more. Your work to correct those divisions that appear can even influence the entire network in return. Because your relationship is really a mini model of the whole. What happens within it is both influenced by the entire human network, and it influences it too. So let's review those stages again. An unpleasant situation appears in your relationship. Your challenge is to remember it came from the network that is now making you feel this division. It's happening only so that you would rise to a higher level of connection. Therefore, you don't hate him, and he doesn't hate you. Rather, you become conscious that you're being played with like puppets on strings. So you want to be smarter than this theater. You want to identify the forces operating upon him. So you remind each other as soon as possible that this situation unfolding is only happening so that you can reach a greater connection. This is how you reach a state of increasing connection that continuously deepens and grows. A love that grows above the changes you experience to a state that is also called a man, a woman, and divinity between them. We'll talk more about that in the next lesson. For now, let's review. In this lesson, we learned that we live within a network of emotions and thoughts that influence us in every moment. We learned that everything that appears in our life is not a coincidence. It's an opportunity to rise to a higher level of connection. And we learned that our relationship is a mini model of the whole. What happens between us reflects what's happening in the entire network, and we can influence it for the better. The more we practice going above our egos in our relationship together with other couples who do this work too, we will infuse the network with love, and that will change reality for the better for all of us. In the next lesson, we will delve even deeper into what it means to have a spiritual relationship.
That was great. I love these videos. They really show us how to strengthen the relationships instead of running away from conflict and challenges. We can actually make the relationship stronger by following these guidelines and doing this, because I think the strongest love comes out of situations where you're ready to kill each other. If you can overcome that, you can overcome anything. So anyway, I think they posted in the chat. We posted the link where you can watch this video again and the whole series if you want to watch that. So we're gonna go to our roundtable discussion, but first we're gonna go over our etiquette rules, which we do every week. We're here to build a space of support, love, care, and warmth. That's the best kind of a environment to really learn and to gain something from what we to learn from each other. Everyone is equal and very important. Everybody has a piece of the answer. Everybody has something important to add. We go around the table and speak briefly and on topic. That way it really focuses what we're doing. It gives a focus to the subject matter. We listen attentively, because a lot of times we can learn so much, and it activates and triggers thoughts that we didn't have before about the topic. There are no right or wrong answers. They're all part of the big answer, and the truth is in the center of our connection. So we're going to move on here. And for our first question, a reminder, if you can, turn your cameras on. Our first question: how do I cover with love the conflicts that arise between us? How do I cover with love the conflicts that arise between us? And like she was saying in the video, she spoke about making concessions, about adding a positive force above the negativity that arises, handling negative emotions in a positive way, and achieving greater love as a result. So if you want to mention something that impressed you in the video, feel free to do that. Or if you want to add something of your own that you picked up, that'd be great too. So again, the question is, how do I cover with love the conflicts that rise between us? And let's start with Nina.
Oh, thank you. I think it's tough, but I think if we approach it like kind of like a challenge, it's interesting that the conflicts that have the potential to tear us apart also have the potential of increasing the love between us. But I think it has to do with our intention when we approach this conflict, rather than getting all this, getting reactive and trying to prove our point. Really focus on the fact that this is an opportunity to increase the love, and then we'll have this discussion in a completely different way. The intention is very important.
Excellent. Willie, how about you?
Okay, I'm trying to unmute. Really, my wife and I came up with a method for dealing with situations like this. Whichever one of us is upset with the other, that person can call the meeting. And when we sit down, we have a pen or something in our hand. That person has the floor. As long as that person hold on to that pen or whatever, the other person cannot speak unless asked the question. And then when they finish, they say, now, what did you hear me say? And then we repeat what we heard, not being a parrot, but we interpret what we heard. Then the other person takes the pen and it's their turn. And we go through that until we work through the issue. And we find out that works really great for us so that we won't hold on to anger.
That's very creative. Judy, do you have anything to top that one?
Yeah, I like what Willie said, but it reminds me too of when if you can do that, if you can sit down with somebody and talk about it, there again, listening is the most important, because if you don't listen, you don't really sometimes understand what they're talking about, and you go off on a tantrum and it becomes a judgmental thing. And there's nothing worse than that. And we all need to look at inside of ourselves and understand that we too probably are very judgmental and we're terrible listeners. And so if we learn to do those two things, we'll bring that love back together with our friends. Thanks.
Yeah, what that makes me think of is that we have to look at every it's a change of our perspective of relationships. We have to rise higher in our perception of how a relationship actually works. We have to rise out of ourselves, out of our selfish needs and wants, and really think of the other person. And also thinking of how do I cover with love the conflicts that arise between us. You have to look at every conflict as an opportunity to rise in love instead of folding, and wallowing. So that's my take on it. Sue Lynn, do you have anything?
All right. I think the only way to fix it would be through communication. Talking, listening to your partner, him listening to you, trying to solve your differences in a constructive way. That's pretty much it,
Yeah, that's a great point. And how about you, Dan?
Yeah, I think communication is the key. That's for sure. I'm pretty amazed with what Willie and his wife do. That's pretty cool. And I was just thinking, 50%, there's a 50% divorce rate, right, in America or whatnot. What ends if 50% of the people, like tomorrow, like did that? So I guess, how do I cover love? Because there's a huge reward to this. There's a huge benefit. If 50% of the people, you don't have to be that creative, did what Willie and his wife are doing all the time, they get angry, that's got to have a ripple effect. There's got to be something there with the caterpillar butterfly effect or whatever it is. So good job, Willie. Well done.
Natalia.
Yes, I have to use this technique with my parents, I guess. But anyway, so we are talking about this video. What was interesting for me is that she said it's not coincidence. Whatever happens between people, it's has a reason for people to establish better connection. If I concentrate on this thought and try to cover with love any disagreement, that would be helpful. Just think like that it is not a coincidence. There is something about it. And maybe your anger will disappear.
Well, I could, first of Danny said, what would happen if 50% of the rest of the population did like Willie did? There'd be a lot of pens sold. I'd have to buy that stock, number one. Number two, what Judy said is so true. When the everybody pretty much said it about communication, but like it goes off on a tangent. If one person's not listening, the other wants to communicate, it turns into a mess. So you really need these tools. And it's so great because even if one person knows this information, let's say all of us are watching it here, and you bring it into the problem or the conflict, whether it's with a friend, lover, whomever, someone you work with, one person at least has the tools. At least you can implement it or start working with it, listening, communicating, let the other person speak, and at least you could try. And like you said, we're all connected, like Natalia said, there's a higher force so that's moving this also. We affect everybody. If I get in an argument with somebody, believe me, it goes down to people I work with and friends because I'm angry. And that could solve a lot of problems if everybody communicated a little bit better. So the tools are great. What this video just said, what everybody's saying is amazing.
I think I can relate to that. I also was thinking about what Solane was saying about solving conflicts in a positive way. And knowing that we are so different, there will always be a conflict then. If, like the video was saying, there is a system that is guiding us into, better connection with each other, then it's like a training program. And so you shouldn't see it as a conflict, you see it as an opportunity to learn something. What I do with my wife is simply, I don't talk, I just let her, make the complaint and register it, and the next day it's like disappears. It's just something that we have to solve in order to make her happy, because she's the one with the needs and I'm the one who fulfills the needs. So then we have to do it like this. Otherwise, we are at war in the same house and it doesn't make sense at all. Understanding that we have differences, and those differences will always create opportunities for disagreements. But those disagreements will give us opportunities to learn something about each other.
All right, I'm going to have Linda read. Are there any comments on Facebook? And then when you're done reading those, I'm going to start on the second question. And I'm going to have you start out the second question. So read the Facebook comments.
Yes, Susie says, I found that when I see something in any loved one that I don't like or agree with, it's good for me to find that very thing lives in me. I just have to be honest to face that. And then Maria says, don't allow your anger to burst out. Try to talk calmly and try to understand and cover your emotions with love. It works.
All right. So like I said, our second question now, and Linda's going to start this off. How can we approach everything as an opportunity for greater connection? How can we approach everything, good and bad, as an opportunity for greater connection?
Well, just by talking to someone. If you're pissed off at each other or whatever, just the talking is a connection. You just got to learn how to use that connection. You don't use an AC and a DC outlet, things like that. You got to just figure it out and figure out what's needed in the other person.
Very true. Paula.
I think open communication can be hard sometimes, but I think just remembering that our differences bring us closer than we think in the moment.
That's true. I love diversity. I love differences. They make life so much more interesting. Elisa.
Yes, as Paula said, and Linda, and all of you are about listening, and also Natalia pointed out to the video, which is absolutely great. And you know, it's just why don't we understand each other? You know, wouldn't be so awesome that we would just immediately understand, but at the same time, there is no just good. There is always good and bad, and we need to learn from both sides. And bad is actually teaches us much more if we are using it exactly like what the video and you all are saying, just to advance, to understand, try to understand the person, try to use those disagreements for mutual growth and cover it with love, but not other way around.
So true. Nina, we're back to you.
Well, another interesting thing was this network science that she mentioned in this video. And if we think about that, how much we're affected by how much we affect everyone and how much everyone affects us, we really can try to see everything that happens as an opportunity for greater connection. And think of it as an opportunity, first of all, not as just something that you're reacting to, but an opportunity to utilize this moment for something greater.
So that would remind me what you said, Nina, that there's good and bad on both sides, and no person is always right. So if you realize that we don't have not one person always have the answer, you have to be able to listen to one another, to learn from one another, and be able to grow from what the other person has to say. If we don't, we stay close-minded and we stay locked in our own ideals, and therefore we don't really grow.
So true, Willie. I was thinking, as most of you said, the good versus the bad. But if we always hate the bad, we're missing that's an opportunity in growth. If we can look at the bad, it's probably not exactly what we think it is. It's probably not as bad as we think, but it's a way of growing for internal growth. If we can overcome this, what we think is bad, with our friends and our loved ones, number one, the connection gets stronger, and we're posing ourselves as an example, and it works with kids. So that's a great way of working with kids. So the whole thing, we have to have the bad. We can't say, well, I wish we could just live in a perfect world. It sounds boring. Next.
Yeah, I love that principle of positive and negative. I mean, it was all created for a reason. I mean, all of nature is based on positive and negative. And you have to look at everything in our relationships as being necessary, whether it's positive or negative. A battery, like she was pointing out, is non-functional if you only have the positive. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't power anything. You have to have that. You have to have that constant, not friction, but that constant. They use each other. The positive and negative use each other to propel you into something. If everything is positive, you're just going to be stagnant. So take the negative, the things you see as negative, and really use them to propel your relationship. I think it's a really a great principle. Sue Lin. if you're there, you can add some more, or we can move on to Dan.
Yeah, I think these opportunities are like they're like a weight, right? So you have to have resistance to build muscles. And so, I mean, you know, the people that can do this or can approach this where they can, like Willie, they can work with others kind of with this negativity, and that's a very big advantage towards a better life. That's how I see it. Like it's, you know, it's an incredible, I'd say advantage, but again, if everybody did it, there's no advantage. That advantage is literally spread through the whole system, right? So you can definitely, it's an attitude adjustment, but I'd be willing to try. Oh, sorry, Natalia.
We're kind of running down on time. So Linda, do we have any more comments from Facebook?
Yes, we have one. Tippy says, take it as an opportunity to communicate and listen to each other and reach a stronger connection between us.
All right, I think I learned a lot from this tonight. I really did, just by listening to everybody, and you really get when you get everyone's perspective on it, you learn so much. And so I love these. I love these on relationships. They're excellent, and we're going to continue it for another 2 or 3 weeks now. So we're going to finish up this series, and like we said, the link to watch that video is in the chat if you want to watch it again, and we should post it on Facebook too, or well, you can watch all of that stuff on Facebook. But anyway, we're going to go to our loosen up. Our Loosen Them Up part of the program here, and I'm going to turn it over to Roberta.
Okay, that was a great conversation, but we're going to do something even more fun now. We're going to do our open diner chair dance. It's traditional, we do it every week. It's a lot of fun. Don't knock it till you try it. Okay, this is how it's going to work. It's kind of like follow the leader, meaning we have a fun time to the music. One person at a time is displayed on the screen. When you come up on the screen, do a dance move. Do something with your hands. I said your ham. Don't do anything with your ham or food. No, just do something with your arms. Okay. And everyone's going to copy your move. When others are displayed on the screen, you're going to follow their move. When it's your turn to go, a box is going to come up on the screen. It's just telling you that you're being spotlighted. Ignore that. Don't read it. Otherwise, you're going to look like this and you're going to miss your turn. That's going to be your dance move. So we don't want to do that. So I think everybody has it. You've been here before, most of you. So let's do this. Let's get loose. Like Gary said, let's have some fun. This is a great way to connect with each other and lift your spirits. And let's see who has some new dance moves this week. 64 shows. Let's see some moves. Okay. Okay.
We all smile, we all laugh. Sometimes we cry, sometimes we dance. It doesn't matter where we live, how we look, if it's small or big. We're all the same in our hearts, and that's the point where friendship starts, because we the plan.
pleasing everybody. Great job. See, we loosened up. We feel good, right? So I'm going to hand this back over to Gary.
Thank you for handing it. Let me change my view here. All right, what we're doing is we're going to wrap it up here by doing what we have been doing. It's been a great little exercise that we've been doing at the end of these, building a collective intention. So how many of you actually were successful in your intention from the last couple of weeks? Did you do good? Did you remember it? So? All right. Well, let's keep improving. We're going to do better. Like I said, a few open diners ago, we spoke about the power of intention. And if you missed it, you can watch the recording on Facebook or YouTube. We'll post those links in a little while. We learned that our intention is multiplied when we intend collectively together and agree on it. So right now we're going to build a collective intention for the week until we meet again. So let's listen to each other and try to continue each other's thought and intention, building one intention about what we want to achieve this week in our relationships. Everyone, please take a moment to think about it. And when you're ready, tell us in just a few words, what is your intention this week in regard to your relationships? And then as each one speaks, try and feel what their intention is and then add to it. This is the way we build a collective intention, and which will help us this week. Well, I'm going to start off by saying I'm going to start to, this week, I want to start to look at things that I thought were negative in relationships as a positive way to build the relationship and make it stronger.
No, Gary, I was just thinking about what you just said. You gave me an idea. Since I don't really trust to see the negative in myself, kind of hard for me to see that. I'm gonna ask my wife to show me what negative things she see in me and then work on that. I'm gonna try that.
I will try to work on, I will try. No, it sounds maybe like something like fairy tale, but just to relate to bad and the conflicts as I relate to something good when things are going like wonderful. That's the intention.
Yeah, like Alyssa just said, I think I'm going to look at the bad too and make sure that I'm not just looking at it negatively, but see what is the good in that and try to work through that. That'll be my intention for the week.
I can add to Judy, do the same as all of you. And if there is a conflict, if so rare, right? When the conflict comes, which could be in 5 minutes, who knows, to listen to the other person. They're not there to hurt you. They're actually to make us grow. It sounds crazy, like Elisa said, but it is a tool in a way to actually become stronger in the bond, whatever the connection is. So to really look at it as a positive movement that's happening and try to be a part of it, not to put my hands up and say, no, I don't like it, to try to work with it. That's my intention.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I need to work on not being reactive. That's always tough for me. So not reacting when something negative, in my eyes, negative happens, but actually trying to see that it's a learning opportunity and an opportunity to get closer to this person and approaching it wisely instead of just reacting.
Yeah, I think and combine that with that all of this is connected, with the butterfly effect and all that kind of stuff. And if, just try to see the negative as an opportunity, right? And an opportunity not just for myself, but all of society.
I think I'll try to remind myself that there are no coincidences in life and that everything happens for a reason. and try to figure out what that reason is.
And remember that there is no coincidence. It may help me not to be angry, so I will try not to be angry this week for at anything.
Yeah, I'll try to be less reactive. And if somebody says something I don't like or is against my thinking, not to just open my mouth. I've got to learn to keep the filter on there every now and then.
I think I can continue what Dan was saying about taking things as an opportunity. What if there was no bad, and if simply the problem is in the way we see things? And you know, if nature organizes things in a way to teach us, then it's always has our best interest in hand. So if I try to work on my perception, it might make me see the world in a different way. Try that.
All right, anybody else? I think everybody spoke, didn't they? Sue Lynn, if you want to speak, you can put your 2 cents in right now.
No, not at this point. No. Sorry.
Okay, that's okay. It's no problem. All right. Well, I think we have some real intentions to live up to, and let's all go out and get our pens ready this week. And so yeah, let's see if we can really do this and really look at practice the positive this week, and cover the negative with the positive. And it's okay to be angry. It's okay to, you know, have those kind of things, but just remember that it's there for a reason. Let the anger come up, but then cover it with the love. All right, we're going to wrap this up. Roberta is going to take us out of here. And so it's on to you.
I'm taking you all out of here. We're going to put the slides up where you can follow us on Facebook and Meetup, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Click like, subscribe. Most importantly, share with your friends. On YouTube and Facebook, you can watch all our past events, and you can RSVP all upcoming events on Facebook and Meetup. Next Thursday, our topic is avoiding toxicity in relationships. We'll be doing this love relationship course for the next 2 weeks. And like I said, you could RSVP all the events in advance so you don't miss out on any of them. Just click each one you want to go to, and you'll get all the invites. The invites are on Facebook and Meetup. RSVP, follow and subscribe, like I said a second ago, and you'll be notified of all our events. We hope to see everybody again next Thursday. Bring your friends. If you two think they could benefit from this event, and I think everybody could really. And thank everybody for joining and taking part and speaking and expressing themselves. That's what Open Dine is all about. And continue to join us every Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and spread the word and bring your friends. Thank you, everybody. This was a great evening.
Thank you for this.
See you next week.
Have a great week.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you. Have a great week. Yes.